against an NIP team that finished 3rd in the South America League, taking down teams like Liquid and W7M. They're seasoned players. Even if necessarily they themselves haven't been on land for some time, and it certainly has been some time since we've seen NIP at one of these big events, they've got absolutely the experience and should get the job done. We head to Border though, and I did take some stock as to, well, how did teams play Border for Enterprise and NIP in their respective stages? Of course, for Enterprise, they played it in their grand final in the Ost League against Ludovica. They won that 7-5. NIP, they also only played it once. Back in the group stage, they beat ENX on it, and it was 7-5. So not a lot of actual groundwork on this map. That probably benefits Enterprise.
Operator bans established. It will be on the side of defense. Castle and Kayid excluded. And for attack, it's double shield, Monty and Blitz respectively. Nothing standing out as being too untoward in that respect. Mute in play. And as you can see, being scattered around the map. That's in anticipation for the potential Deimos from EP. First round, though, in the composition, at least to me, indicative that it could be direct here, and that might be an intriguing way to set the tone if they go for the full Archives hit off the rip.
Well, the problem is as well, like, you want to go fast, you want to be aggressive, so you don't want to seem too scared, right? You want to almost say, okay, we're not going to be scared, let's be aggressive. And then if it doesn't work and it doesn't work, suddenly you find yourself 2-0 down, attack Border, and then that's when you go into your shell, and that's what you don't want. So Enterprise need to make sure they're quite reserved. Don't put too much eggs in one basket. Like, if you lose this round, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to change up too much. Fisher Guy on the Blackbeard can help enable some of that entry. So the bans as well. Montaigne Blitz. The Blackbeard will eventually be banned. Player opening pick, but a Nitrosol from Hate will get rid of Bappin. Doesn't even get to shoot his gun. Fisher Guy makes his way top east stairs, but he's also now very low on that Blackbeard, so it limits the potential entry now for EP.
Still plenty of time on the clock, though, for EP, and they can look to readjust. Player to pivot over towards the vent position outside Archives. Fisho is still clutching that diffuser top east. Maybe looking to sweep across security. Ooh, takes a lick of damage. Able to just survive. The 2-man hold from NIP, and Enterprise finding it challenging to break the cross.
So 90 seconds left in the round. At the very least 4v4. Fantasy already down, so no smoke, no delay with the gas paints. This is not too bad, though, for EP, right? It's that initial entry, get a bit of control, and then you get the drones out. Try and find some more information. Gumine stepped on for player. Nitrocell in hand for Pino. That will connect onto Fisher Guy, who was already quite low on the Blackbeard. Gives NIP now the advantage in the opening round. Sets themselves up very, very nicely.
Don't really see an in all for EP.
Freebie.
It was, and Relay is almost able to connect a second. Unable to do so, however, 50 seconds, diffuser recovered. Archives likely the last position they can try and go for this plant now.
Still got time. PPC needs to be dealt with. Player trying to just prep fire a little bit to help out with the entries, but couldn't connect onto anyone. Yellow ping intel for Relays, but he's now low. Needs some help from Tuhan towards break. 3 players of NIP, though, are well situated, well set up, and a really good start for the Ninjas in Pyjamas. And you can hear them in the background. Really good way to kickstart their campaign here at the Esports World Cup. Didn't have to do a whole lot. A little bit of aggression from NIP at the start of that round. It's Border. You don't want to just allow the attacking team to waltz on through the map, so they were able to be aggressive. Made it a 4v4, wounded the Blackbeard. And that's really what you want, is what you want pressure on like a guy like Fisher. Fisher on like 5 HP on a Blackbeard means he can't be as aggressive. Get that intel, relay that over, call the strats. He has to be a little bit more careful.
Still some promising signs, though, for EP. Not falling into a shell, at least in that opening round, which is good to see. They looked to establish pretty early map control. Didn't play a timid brand of Siege, which really is the correct way to go about it. Especially on Border. If you get stalled out, especially on the exterior, it can make it really, really difficult to fight your way into the remainder of the round. And so we prepare for the second, over to Tellers for the following round. And as expected, a pretty big roam to be employed here from NIP. Oryx also selected, and that may offer counterplay onto the Blackbeard.
By the way, the winner of this game will, of course, play the winner of Fury and Oxygen. Loser plays the loser of Fury at Oxygen. To be honest, that would be an intriguing matchup. EPV OXG in a best of 3 would be some really good practice for the Aussies. If that does eventuate right now, NIP, good start. Wizard on the Oryx. Fun fact, of course, there's 3 Wizards playing in Pro League Siege at the moment. One on Fnatic, one obviously here for NIP, and one on the best team in Oceania, Guz. Saga Esports.
Why aren't they at this event then?
No, obviously I'm joking.
Nah.
Slow start, Relays lurking on the Nook. It's Cons though with the opening pick onto Fisher, but he had already thrown out a frag grenade. We've seen a lot of trades in Siege recently, but not often necessarily with the frag. Fisher will happily take that, but it does mean the Blackbeard off the ball for the second round. Only taking the Fenrir with him. Hates low on HP. 90 seconds left in this round. Relays makes his way up top main. Hades with the pick onto Tuhan, who has struggled to get involved so far. 0-2 for, I guess, the second most experienced player on this Enterprise roster. Player got one onto Wizard, but Relays turned the corner at the wrong time. Hades gets another one, but here comes Player. But now in a 1v2 after losing Bappen. He's got well over a minute remaining in the round. Can play this slow if he so chooses. And for Player, of course, a unique scenario where he came in halfway through the stage, essentially coming into the playoffs to replace Killerman. He's gotten his opportunity, and he has so far not let it go to waste. The second highest rated EPS player in Oceania. This would be huge. And these are the kind of rounds as well. If you win this 1v2 for Player, it just gets the team going. But NIP have got the extra numbers. They've got the experience, and they should be able to win this out. Crossfire, watching from a distance was Pino, and NIP will take the opening 2 rounds. Defense, border, good start for the Brazilians.
Doing a really good job in minimizing mistakes. Enterprise looked to flirt above into limited info. Pretty heads up in their approach, and they just caught bad timings against NIP, who did not miss their shots and were able to dislodge that attack.
It's a pressure factor as well in a best of 1. When you're already a couple of rounds down, you feel like you're almost running out of room, running out of space so quickly, so early on. You know, you've only got a couple more rounds that you can kind of freely give up. Otherwise, we're talking about a significant comeback. EP, we're talking about border here. They need attacking rounds in this first half. Certainly a little bit closer in that previous round. Doesn't help that Fisher's been under immense amount of pressure early on in both of the 2 rounds. He needs to try and stay alive for as long as possible. Need to try and get Tuhan involved as well. No kills for him just yet. And I guess a player like Bappen, who had such a tremendous stage in Oceania. We're talking about a player that at one point we weren't quite sure, does he really take it seriously? Joins this team, and boy did he elevate his performance in the stage. But so far it's been NIP, their experience clearly shining, and Hates now 5-1. And I would imagine after this round, you just ban the Blackbeard anyway. It's been used twice, even if it's not in this particular round being used. You're going with the Montank, you're going with the Blitz, so I imagine for NIP, they will take out the Blackbeard.
Get ready for the breach.
So early drone work over towards this security position onto Fantasy on the Solace. Could be quite impactful late round in identifying where that plant is positioned, particularly if NIP regress above and get vert control, which they currently possess. EP's droning suggesting, though, that perhaps they want to go a little bit more directly through said front door. A risky play for sure, but it could well work out. Player sends it, finds the kill, and that's the opener for Enterprise.
Yeah, good start from players so far in this series. So Fantasy goes down, deals with the Solace, decent operator to take off the board. Well, I'm not going to say necessarily this is a must-win round, but it becomes a very important round for EP. A 3-0 start for NIP. It's going to be very difficult. I wonder if they go quick here. Candela's smokes. Fisher may be trying to draw out potential Nitro cells. Don't forget there's a Warden on the board, but he has been EMP'd as well. So Cons is not going to be effective here, and Fisher is going to be able to stick this plant inside of fence, and with that 2-player advantage, courtesy of Player, finding his 5th kill, EP in a very winnable round. Cons got Bappen up above. But now in a 1v4 post plant for the defense of NIP, and surely no chance. Enterprise are on the board here at the Esports World Cup.
That was really good problem solving there. Player self-sufficient on the drone, made the heads-up play, got the opening kill. That's the Solace taken down, and then the EMP onto the Warden. So there was no plant denial potential there for NIP in directly identifying where the plant was positioned. And they did a good job in getting it down, playing the post, not throwing away anything for free. And overall, just well played there by EP.
Bans come through, by the way, and the Blackbeard escapes ban. It will be the Nomad, it will be the Fenrir as the next two bans to come through going into round 4. So it does leave that available then as an option for Enterprise if they so choose to keep using that Blackbeard. Didn't use it in the previous round. Rightfully so, had a different plan of attack, and certainly it did work out. But I just wonder if NIP may be playing some mind games here with that ban of the Nomad instead. They bring the Clash, so Cons will go on to the Clash now for NIP on the defensive border. We go back top floor. Armory and Archives to follow in this 4th round. And this is going to be the real test now for Enterprise attacking into a site such as this. So far though, Player has been the player for EP to really stand out. It really does feel like a storyline of someone getting one more opportunity and just not letting it go.
Reloading, cover me.
He ended up being top rated for the league, right?
Second.
Ah. Just narrowly second. Still had a plus 30 KD, plus 4 entry. Played less than half the amount of rounds as the rest of his team, oddly enough, in the end, but his impact has certainly paid dividends. On the line for this particular round, so he'll have impact on that DMR.
In terms of top-rated player for NIP in South America League, we're looking at Fantasy and Hates. The two that were the highest rated players for a team that obviously had such a tremendous stage. Hates so far, 5 and 2. Fantasy 1 and 2. So a bit more of a setup focus from Enterprise this round. They'll bring the Grim. Got the Capitao, look to dislodge some positions. A little bit of pressure though from NIP, and that Clash is going to be really annoying. And is not fast at all by those Grimbees of Fisher guy. He's got 3 more in the Quan Hive launcher. He's going to let 2 of those go out now.
We're trying to cook something here with the EMPs and the Flames. Con's position has now been flooded. Able to escape. The Clash though to re-aggress. Con's again under pressure. Low on HP, still able to survive, but EP unable to confirm that kill. Elsewhere though, Bappa does find entry. Traded out though. EP still narrowly leading this round in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's interesting. They're getting some opening picks now. It's not really their forte. It's not their biggest strength. Back in the Oceania League, only the 4th best team when it came to entries. But that's something that they're kind of leaning on right now, especially on this map of border. Hates another kill, and boy, he's turning out to be a real thorn in the sides of Enterprise. Relay's getting involved. We know he can frag out as well. Cons is low on that Clash, so can't be as much of a nuisance. Still a minute left into the round. There he is, though. Cons pulling out the SMG, gets rid of Relays, and Cons with a second as well into Bappen. Well, that's a big miss for EP to not be able to clear out this Clash inside of security, so low on health. But the power of the Clash on display and how strong that operator can be. All onto Tuhan and Player now in a 2v3 with 40 seconds.
They need to try and find this pinch, and that's exactly what they go for. Pino down. There's still a second player close by, though. Fancy and Tuhan not in a position to trade that, but a 1v1 needs to land these shots. He's whiffing every single one of them. Fancy goes prone.
Well, he's not necessarily whiffing. He's just right behind the desk. He's gone prone, so Tuhan can't shoot him out. Fantasy goes down. 20 seconds. Tuhan low on health. Death mark. It'll help, but it does also reveal his own position at 90. They cross paths, but Tuhan was so lucky to cross at the right time and knows where he is. But a shot from Fantasy from the distance with the shotgun, knowing he's so low on health. NIP will go 3-1 up.
And that's an opportunity gone begging for Enterprise. They almost had that round delivered to them on a silver platter, and with the Deathmark 1v1, typically you're backing in the Deimos. But Tuhan sniped, also had that earlier whiff over towards Office before said player went prone, so unfortunately quite rough there. For the attack, Enterprise will feel that and sense that there should be 2-2 at the moment, but That's not the reality, and they need to continue grinding out this half.
Well, Hates has been absolutely sensational in terms of overall numbers, but it was cons in that particular round. When you're playing a low health clash security, multiple players coming at you to get the 2 kills that he did, that probably wins them the round. If they clear cons, they clear out the clash inside of security from that point onwards, well, they probably find themselves in a round in which EP win and it becomes 2-2.
So full comp switch here for EP for the 5th round. Bravo will be in play most notably. Not really directly countering a ton of the utility on defense outside of the Aruna gates, but could be pivotal in dealing with default cameras. The Nook as well remains a bit of a mainstay here for EP, and it has shown success in the mid to late round and being able to gain space. Twitch as well, so double specialized drones for the attack. The Twitch typically used as counterplay into the mirror, but not on the board this time around. Again, useful for cameras though. Do you sense that has this been a bit of a misread in terms of composition? BBC is not in play from defense. EP will need to lean heavily into gunplay then for this 5th round. 2 players above, most notably the Clash, and EP need to make sure that they deal with that more efficiently than the previous round.
Yeah, and you got to do it as a team, making sure you don't go one at a time. Probably what cost them in that security clear in the previous round. It's sort of like, I'm going to try it first, I died. Second guy comes in, I'll try it second, he dies. Cons now on to the Oryx. 9 seconds in the round. NIP, I think, have got themselves set up once again, but it is another opening kill for EP. But traded, to be fair, really quickly. So no real advantage in the round gained for Enterprises. Fantasy was able to find that pick back immediately. Shuts down the Nook. So no lurk from relays available later in this round. Pressure on Wizard. We can see the bolts out here from Bappin over towards Archives. Hates inside of Towers is going to be one to watch for Ninjas in Pyjamas. He's been the standout. Pino shut down by Tuhan. And EP really need a player like Tuhan to match someone like Player and Relays. Bappin, okay, maybe he's 1-4 right now, but you're playing the Capitao. You've got a different role.
Yeah, they're trying to cook up a clear here. Bappin still has 1 flame remaining. Maybe can link up with Fisho Guy here to try and clear this position. Gone 6 as well in hand in preparation for clearing that shield. That's not the most effective tool. Now plays down.
Oh,
Gets
no,
in the
they have
meantime.
no watch. Up main comes Fantasy. Is there a trade? No, 1 HP. That can be called out, but it becomes a 3v3. But you know the Aruni's very low off of those shots. Hates has got Smoke Baby in hand, throws it out. Fantasy finished off by Fisho Guy. Gets aggressive over towards Waiting, wants to make his way in now. Inside of Towers is Hates, low, Wizard towards Bathroom. Hates won the battle against Fisho. That's Kit on the floor as well.
And with that gas babe and only 15 seconds on the clock, this is tricky for EP.
Must get the kills and must get them quickly. Hard to do though with the shield up for the clash. Tuhan aggressive headshot though onto Wizard will land. Hates is low, they converge, they find the kill. 2-3. Close game on border between the Aussies and the Brazilians.
Yeah, that was massive from Tui to be able to find that double at the very end there. Fisho relayed info on the player close, but the shot onto the Clash is always a challenge. You have a big advantage playing behind that utility. So much more dynamic than Clash has been previously, but just that slide over peak and that slight timing there.
What a shot down the hallway from Tuhan.
And yeah, it was super clean.
Yeah, it feels like their decision-making is getting better as they're getting more reps in, more rounds in. It's always the benefit of obviously getting this experience on LAN. EWC is a very harsh tournament. I mean, we're talking about best of 1 into a best of 3 and you could be going home after today. You don't necessarily get a whole lot of room for error, but that just is, that's the beauty of this tournament. It raises the stakes altogether. I mean, there's already a very significant matchup in the lower bracket. Falcons SSG. One goes home today.
Wow. That's kind of crazy.
Like that's how brutal it can be. You know, FearX versus FaZe Clan. I mean, for FearX, talk about, you know, trial by fire, VP then FaZe. That's tough. Gen.G versus Weibo, that could be a good game. Those are the matchups that we've got at the moment in terms of the lower bracket, best of 3, you know, lose, you go home situations. Enterprise, well, they need this third. Maybe not need is the right word, but boy, it goes a long way, especially against a team like NIP, who I think is going to be very strong in that attack half. So final round of the opening half. NIP just edging out the lead, and Hates and Relays will trade 1-for-1. The old CJX, welcome to EWC. But you take that all day of the week if you're Enterprise, because that's the smoke, and that's also the top-rated player for NIP that has been eliminated.
Yeah, it's a pretty big pick. Good value there from Relays on the lurk entry. Will certainly free up the late round a little bit more for the EP attack, and they'll be less conducive to that plant denial. He stays clear, an opportunity presented there for Tuhan to find the kill, but he gets slammed by the quick peek. Fancy SMG in hand. Really clean.
Fisher down as well. There's the Blackbeard on the floor. Bappen to fall behind him, struggling here in this opening map of EWC for EP and player in a 1v4 outside. The pressure from NIP ramped up to maximum here in the final round of this opening half. There's nothing really player can do from here. Doesn't even have the kit. They know where he is. They could swing at any moment, but the patience from NIP will be to their benefit, making sure they don't give player any kind of chance, any kind of opportunity. He's praying and hoping that someone gets a little antsy, a little bit bored and tired of waiting, but he hops in towards Office. Good shot onto Pino. Gumai needs to be pulled out. Might need to go for a slight reset if he wants to vault back out, but he goes for a clear right now.
Utility still standing in his way as well, and it feels...
Oh, he's feeling so confident.
Feels inevitable that NIP will win this.
That's a good kill, though, from Cons, because player looked like he was really heating up. So a 4-2 half in favor of Ninjas in Pyjamas on border. About right. Probably where we see this matchup. So far, it's all kind of following the script.
Yeah. EP, actually, to their credit, I think looked a little more confident than I perhaps anticipated. They were willing to execute plays and very rarely actually got stalled out on attack. Now, in terms of the execution of those called plays, maybe not always the best, but they had ideas, they were cooking, it was fun to watch. NIP, though, just with their experience and expertise and mistake minimization, were better, well-rounded across the board. We prep now for the second round in the additional ban phase. It's a Blackbeard and Blitz, double shield attack. Defense, it's Azami, which is a little bit more peculiar. Can be used on some of the extensions, and Smoke, interestingly enough, as well. So NIP may be looking to play into the plant win con a little bit more than you would expect.
I feel like I'm about to go off to war. This music is just like, damn, I'm getting amped up. 2-4. NIP being the better of the two teams. Fantasy and Hates leading the way, which is very much in line with the numbers that we've seen from those two in particular back in the South America League. Third most played operator is the Deimos as well for Fantasy. Hates most played operator, the Twitch. Just kind of slotting back into how things have been going for NIP as of recent. Their recent form looks like it's coming to the foray, even still here at EWC.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Pressure is absolutely on now for Enterprise. Like you're 2 rounds down, now you're on defense border. NIP could get really aggressive, take a lot of positions. How do EP play this? Do they get aggressive themselves? They can't give too much respect over to their opponents. Can't fear them.
This lineup, with especially the OSA, is very much pointing towards an Archives hit. In combination with the smoke ban as well, they should be primed and ready to go for that style of play. I think they'll still do groundwork to prepare for it. It's not necessarily going to be a rush, and you can see that groundwork currently being established, but the ultimate endpoint is likely to be there. That being said, Wizard does have Diffuser on the opposing side, so is it maybe even a bait here from NIP?
Could be a potential bait, as you said. You know, you kind of go Candela's in, Smokes, and the also Shield, but then Wizard maybe slips in on the backside. See what NIP are cooking up.
Sandwich swinging.
If they don't play this default, EP is going to be really confused about this, and indeed into Armory goes Wizard. Will they be ready for this? Anyone stopping him? No, not at all. Straight in towards Sandwich. He'll get the plant down. They've got outside control. It's a really well organized and executed attack from NIP, and Enterprise had absolutely no idea what they were cooking.
I mean, there's still retake potential. Do not count EP out from here.
Not counting them out, but it's going to be difficult. There's the angle on the outside from Hates. He gets his 11th kill. Relays shuts down Cons. 2v2 post plan where you've got to clear outside. Up close again. Hates finds a third. Well, it's the Hates and Fantasy show now for NIP. They go 5-2 up, and that was a exquisite attack from the Brazilians.
Yeah, I really like that attacking style. They completely bait in. Archive's denial sandwich ends up being the ultimate endpoint. And whilst there was potential for retake, we saw NIP play really controlled positions outside of the map. And that made the collection a little bit easier for them in the post. So now a 3-round lead. And EP left a little bit bamboozled there on that opening defense.
I mean, I can't blame them.
It was just a really
sometimes it's literally more just, well, your opponent just did that. Wow, okay. And this is the thing as well. EP were like, I reckon Fisher's already like, note saved. Let's bring that one out stage 2 at some point if we play border. That's actually pretty smart. That's pretty cool. And especially if you were to bring that back home, all the Aussie teams are just going to be like, yeah, it's default, it's default, it's default. And then you get caught. And as you said, it's not like it was a given round. You still have to play the exterior, deny the jump outs, make sure you stop that counter defuse. But and I played it really, really well. Hates up to 12-5 now. He's been the difference maker. Yeah, this is where for Enterprise, you can't let this become a blowout. You can't just get 7-2'd here. Now, you've got to stay competitive. Keep eking out a couple of rounds. If you ultimately lose 7-4, 7-5, at least it's respectful. Got to stay competitive.
Got to maintain some dignity. And try to tap into some momentum that you can find later on.
NIP themselves, though, right now would be feeling as if this is going to be potentially the round that breaks the backs of EP if they can win this. And Hates now with an opening pick. He is feeling it. A 13th kill found in just the 8th round. And that's been somewhat the strength of Enterprise in this match. They've been getting good opening picks. They've had good entries. Now that NIP are up 5v4, pressure on the defense, they can set up really nicely as well with the utility available. Smokes, Candelas, the Glads to follow as well from Wizard. You got the Montang as well for that slow push in. Pressure on this top floor. Fantasy pick onto Relays. Plant going down into Vents. They're doing it again. But this time they're finding the kills at the same time. This is a slaughter in the 8th round. The most convincing round from NIP. They're getting stronger and stronger. And it's falling away now for Enterprise. Showed signs of competitiveness to begin. But NIP, they're getting better and better every round.
And with that, 4 match points for the Brazilians, and the Aussies left shell-shocked. But it's not really too surprising. How many times have we seen a team come across and their first match is a bit of a disaster? So,
well, you're already getting shown here that you're not playing against regular old OS teams that keep it rather default, try and don't play too far outside the box. NIP in the last 2 rounds single-handedly showing EP stuff that they've not seen as a team since they've been formed.
Yeah, we haven't really seen these kinds of attacks in OS, period. So
in APL, period.
Yeah, that's why it's an experience thing.
Yeah. It's also a really good showcase for NIP. This is why they finished 3rd in SAR. They're playing some really good Siege.
Yeah, they're clinical.
I mean, you can look to their opponent, but I would say look to the stage that they've just had in the South America League. You're not knocking off Liquid W7M for nothing. You're doing it because you've become a really solid team. And with attacks like this, Hates and Fantasy both performing really, really high level. Yeah, they deserve to close this one out 7-2. They've been far and away the better of the 2 teams. But I should note as well, like for Fisho being 2-7, that is expected, that is normal. You got Tuhan 6-6, Relays 8-7, Player 7-6. 3 of your fraggers are doing well. I mean, this is not to highlight Bappin at 1-8, absolutely not. What I'm highlighting is Enterprise is still getting a lot of looks in. But the gap in quality overall is very noticeable.
EP, the kind of team that can't play with a weak link in terms of fragging power, and unfortunately Bappin, it hasn't been his day. We need to see the 4 fraggers and then Fisho IGL, and that has been their playstyle and their game plan and their win con this stage. And it will be the same here at EWC. NIP bring the Ying once more, been a critical piece of utility for them in being disruptive, playing fakes, playing aggressive, just like Fancy, who gets caught out. Probably should have killed Relays, who got given a second chance. Enterprise, again, with an opening kill. The early round from them, from time to time, has actually shown quite a bit of promise.
It's definitely been a strength of theirs, but NIP's strength has been their ability to bring these rounds back. EP, it's a long way back. You're 6-2 down, but you've got to fight for every single round. Every round is so important, not necessarily in their ability to win this map, but just being able to gain experience at this event. Wizard, pick, Relays, goes down. Player to fall after a sensational start from Player. He's cooled off a little bit, and so has Enterprise. Advantage for NIP. Looking to secure this map in a 7-2 fashion. 4 players to the 3. Over a minute, and the attack can start to spread out around the map. And this is the thing as well, players like Bappin, they've never felt this kind of pressure before. Oh, what
that's
a headshot. That's much better. And almost takes down the player at 90 as well. Tuhan falls though inside our offices. Retreat, fall back to site. The double stack now with Fisher, guys. Still the advantage for NIP.
Can they cook up a plan to stay alive here in the upper bracket? NIP have been clinical, 30 seconds on the clock, 3 drones up. They should have the info and the utility to get this result across the line right here, right now.
Oh, no, the lineup! Oh, the lineup and the double kill from Bappin leaves Wizard in a 1 versus 2. And he's towards bot east, and he makes his way through waiting now. No time to go and get that kit. No time in this round. And Enterprise, unless Fisher dies as well. Oh, he gets a melee kill. Oh, calamity. But Enterprise stay alive. Courtesy of that double kill from Bappin. Headshot through the hatch. But it just had to be the Osway with still a little madness at the end.
Yeah, I mean, the line up into the night. Classic Osway to close out the round, but a round win nonetheless.
Keeps them up, keeps them in, 3-6.
I think for NIP, that's definitely one you shrug off, you have a bit of a chuckle about, and you move on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously NIP have got themselves still match point, 3 of them in the back pocket, OT secured, they're fine, they're chilling. And as you said, it's the fact that they just lined up. They certainly had the advantage well and truly to close out this map, but they keep the EP dream alive. Big round from Bappin. He found 3 kills in that round. You think back top east, that headshot, that was a really nice one over towards top waiting, falls back and then gets the double. So a big round from him. And I think you kind of said it. It's like this team is designed for Fisho to basically get 0 kills, but the other 4 guys frag out. But you need all 4 of them fragging out.
Yeah. So a confidence builder then for Bappin. Again, the rest of the team now rally around Fish. They need 3 more clean rounds from here to push into OT. Back up to Archives we go. Last time out, Nip with the fake and the sandwich swing. This lineup, though, much more indicative of early util clearance with the Flores, security control, flank watch you play with Nomad, and then line for the execute.
Still a long way back for Enterprise. NIP really should be closing this out. The opening kills have become a bit of a concern. Well and truly in favor for EP. Also, what's with the naming conventions that we've had today? We had the G2, Gen.G, and you got the EP, NIP. I didn't get to do the DZ phase game, which is probably an easier one. But even then, there's still 2 Zs in there. I think another part of that previous round as well is the early kill on the Fantasy. I mean, that's just one of 2 players that are really fragging out right now for NIP. Like, if you can get an opening kill onto Hates, for instance, boy, that limits NIP's potential in these rounds. He's been so influential. Whereas on the flip side with Enterprise, there's not that one in particular player that's really performing. A little bit more evenly spread across the 4. Adrenal Surge activated early. That's going to send Fantasy up towards main. And he's just going to get a freebie. Yeah, red ping intel.
Timing.
Fisho goes down. He was on the floor prone. Another one fell as well in relays, but firing back was Bappin, but he got traded immediately. Now it's a two-player advantage for NIP. This time they will not squander it. Easy clear from Hates, and boy, that man was sensational in this